Hey guys, I'm Dimension Jump and today I'll be reviewing the Separate Ways DLC for Resident Evil 4 Remake, which was released in September of 2023. And this DLC follows Ada Wong as she is trying to secure a bit of amber for Albert Wesker, and she gets the help of Luis, who you see throughout part of the main story of Resident Evil 4. And yeah, and as I said in my last week review for Resident Evil 4 Remake, you do get to see Ada throughout the main story, and she does help Leon every now and again. And within the Separate Ways DLC, you get to see her whole story of why she's at the island, why she's trying to find the Amber, and you find out that she's working for Wesker. And yeah, I enjoy this DLC. I think it's an interesting way of seeing what Ada was doing during the main events of Resident Evil 4, and it kind of reminds me of Resident Evil 2 and 3 in the sense that when you're playing as Leon or Claire, in Resident Evil 2 you do get to see what some parts of what the other characters are doing, and then with Resident Evil 3 you get to see the story of the zombie outbreak through Jill Valentine's eyes, and it kind of reminds me of that for Separate Ways of how the story progresses and how you interact with some parts of the main story. And with Ada, you're similar to other games in the Resident Evil series. She is being stalked by this giant parasitic demon thing. It's kind of hard to explain. I don't remember the story ever really giving a big explanation of what the parasitic enemy is. It's just like this big parasite thing that stalks Ada throughout the course of the DLC, and yeah, and it does make her infected, similar to how one of the enemies infects Leon in Resident Evil 4, well, in the main game of Resident Evil 4. And yeah, and when it comes to Ada, she plays a bit differently when it comes to Leon. They do have some similar stuff, like they share some of the same weapons, that sort of thing. But when it comes to combat, Ada is slightly different in the sense that she has a grappling hook that she can use to get to higher areas or to use on certain boss fights, that sort of thing. And yeah, it's very different. It feels very, very different when compared to Leon's. And yeah, I think it's a good change of pace when it comes to the combat, because even though you do use guns and similar stuff like that, when it comes to like ranged combat with the grappling gun, it does feel a bit different and feels like a new breath of fresh air. And I do like how Ada will appear. You'll have cutscenes in Separate Ways that will be in the main game, and it's really cool seeing like how those bits of story kind of interact with each other and stuff like that. So yeah, and now it's time for some gameplay. So with Separate Ways, it because it follows similarly or follows parallel to the main story of Resident Evil 4, you will come across characters like Luis and the Merchant and Leon every now and again. And with Ada, she kind of, if I can, here we go. She kind of uses similar guns to Leon. I think there's like, for example, this one's quite similar. Or basically the same one you get with Leon in the main game and stuff like that. And you basically just fight like some of the similar enemies, like these giant bugs. And if you can find a regular enemy, a humanoid enemy, here we go. This one or two. So one of the things that Ada has when it comes to the combat that's different to, pretty much the only thing that's different compared to Leon is that she has a grappling hook, and she can use that grappling hook to basically grapple enemies and just
and just like do like a kick to them, which makes them so basically to deal a lot of damage. Do you think it's a good thing because like it helps Ada differentiate basically makes Ada's moveset and stuff uniquely different when it comes to like Leon because Leon was more militarized or not militarized. I'd say has more military training or like different kind of like military training compared to Ada. So yeah, that's what I was kind of comparing when it comes to like the fighting styles of both Ada and Leon. So yeah, when it comes to like the main like when you use like the guns, um, it doesn't really change a whole lot. It's just it's just the same sort of thing as in like the main game of Resident Evil 4, as well as like the other Resident Evil games. It's just that it's just pretty much the same. Just fire use your gun on various enemies and stuff like that. And yeah, I would say overall, it's still the same sort of thing as in like the other game. So yeah, so that's been it for the gameplay. Now it's time to go back to the review.
So overall, I would say that Separate Ways is a good bit of extra content for Resident Evil 4 Remake. And I do like how it interacts, well, the story of that DLC interacts with the main game. And yeah, you can see that with the cutscenes and stuff like that. And yeah, it's a really a whole lot of fun. And I think it just adds a lot more elements to Resident Evil 4 as a whole. And yeah, it's fun. And as I said before, I do like how Ada's combat, even though some parts of it is similar to the main game, is different because both Ada and Leon have both different combat training from each other, so it feels new and fresh. And yeah, overall, I would say Separate Ways is a good 5.5 hours of content. So you'll obviously have a lot of enjoyable time, or a lot of time, or basically a nice time of just playing through the DLC and just having just seeing Resident Evil 4 through the eyes of Ada. So yeah, so that's been my review for the Separate Ways DLC. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And see you in the next video.